And welcome to Crash Media Paranormal Conversations with Crash. Tonight we're going to have a very informal live chat with our chat open, and you can ask any questions, and we start right now. And welcome back. Ashley, how are you? Are you there?
I'm
Can you hear me?
doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How was your week?
It's been pretty busy. Very busy. I've had a lot of photo shoots. I'm a photographer for those of you that don't know, and so it's my busy senior season right now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I am a teacher, and I am actually a senior sponsor, so I know all about the busy senior season. We just got back
Yeah.
from Dallas. We have a trip to Atlanta. We have a lot of stuff going on. So
Mhm.
tonight, what do
I've
you have in store?
also I shouldn't say I've also been busy working on our next episode. It's not ready yet, but I'll let you all know as soon as it's almost ready because it's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one.
So,
That was a fun night. I'm trying to get our chat up. Okay, there we go. It looks like everything is coming on for us.
so just to let you know, there is a little bit of a delay. I can't hear. I can see
Yeah,
your lips moving, but I can't hear for like about 10 seconds or so. So if I am delayed in responding or anything, just know there's a bit of delay. I'm sorry.
what you mean we're actually going to have some technical difficulties?
And it doesn't do that when we're getting ready, but then once we go live, it starts doing it.
Yeah,
So
it's bizarre.
I don't know.
And unfortunately, sometimes, like to log into the chat, we have to be live to log into the chat. So I am trying to get signed into the chat so we can enjoy talking to some of our viewers tonight and
That's what
talking
I'm
about the
going to
paranormal.
be. Here we go.
All right, you're logging into. All
All
right.
right.
Sorry, this
I've
takes a
got it
second.
pulled up to the side as well. So if I see somebody putting anything in the chat, I'll read it also.
Yeah, everything, just takes a little while for
I'll try
some
to keep an eye on
strange
that
reason.
chat.
We can't blame sunspots tonight. There we go. We are logged in. All right. Okay, we are officially logged in.
Okay, yeah, now it looks like everything's going.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a couple of things set up here. But anyway, Miss Ashley, tell me about what you have in store for us tonight.
Well, I figured, there's so many questions about paranormal that we get asked, just even throughout the years of when people find out like you're a paranormal investigator, they have a lot of questions, and a lot of them are kind of these frequently asked questions.
Right?
I see it a lot in paranormal groups, like on Facebook and different discords and stuff, and so I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to address.
Oh, and there she goes. It would not be Crash Media Paranormal without a few crashes. So let's try to get her back. So give us one moment. No crash without the crash. All right, so my name is Craig, and I will be your host tonight. Sorry about that. Trying to... I believe she is back in. Okay, sorry about that. Let me get her back into her little box. Hello.
Am I back?
You're back. You're back. Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened.
Hello, it's already dropping me out. I don't know. Yeah, usually at least we get, about 20 minutes in before it starts dropping me out, but it's getting started early tonight.
It really is. We do a pre-show like every time, get everything set, get everything ready, do a couple of test recordings. Everything goes smooth as silk. As soon as we hit that live button, boom, something is going to happen. All right. So,
Yes.
tell us again about the frequently asked questions that we get.
All right. Did you hear anything of what I was saying before?
Not really. Just start over. Just start over.
um okay, so what I was saying, I'll just start over. Okay. All right. So as paranormal investigators, we throughout the years, there's a lot of questions like, when people find out that you're a ghost hunter, there's a
Hmm.
lot of questions we get asked, and a lot of times they're frequent questions. I see it a lot in Facebook chats and
Yeah.
discords and stuff. So I thought it might be good to address some of those frequently asked questions, and also just kind of hang out and just talk about paranormal. If somebody wants to throw a question in the chat, or a topic or anything, we're just gonna hang out tonight and just talk about it.
Right. Because this is what we do on a almost a daily basis. Me and Ashley just get together and just talk. That's why we're such good friends. That's why we enjoy each other. We do have a
Yep.
set of frequently asked questions that we're gonna that people have asked us, over the when we're on an investigation, when they find out what we do, or just generally when we're talking to people. The first one we have is, do you provoke?
Yeah, and this is a question that we get asked a lot from clients. So a lot
Mhm.
of times clients will, when people contact us, contact our group about maybe a possible haunting or something in their house. And that's one thing that we get asked a lot, do you provoke? Because I think that a lot of people see those kinds of things on television shows, and it can be scary to people that don't understand like what paranormal investigating actually is.
Mhm.
And that's one thing that we don't do is
No.
provoke.
No.
And so a lot of times people, clients and other people might think that, oh, you're going to come into my house and provoke whatever's here and stir something up. And it's important to know that that's not how you investigate the paranormal, and that's not how especially we approach things. And um so so I don't know, do you want to, for some people might not even know what that means, would you want to kind of describe what provoking actually means?
Yeah, that's going into a space that you most of the time are not even familiar with, and you're going in there with this antagonistic behavior. You're going in there to, we're going to make them talk to us tonight. We're going to have a great time. We're going to make these spirits do what we want them to do. Or even worse, we're going to rid this place of the spirits. It's just this strange, bizarre mindset that when you walk into a space that you're going to dominate the spirits, that you're just going to make them talk to you, and you're going to be mean, and you're just going to, I don't know, it's just not something that we want to do when we walk into someone else's space. Because when we investigate, we're not in our own houses most of the time, which we are going to be doing my house, the Bristow house, pretty soon. But we're not going to and basically make a situation worse by just being aggressive. We're not aggressive when we go on an investigation.
Yeah. And just for like one little example, okay, so we just investigated the Old South Pittsburgh Hospital.
Hmm.
So some of you might have caught that on the live stream. We'll also be doing an episode on it soon. But okay, so there is an area in Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. It's the chapel area.
Right.
So a lot of people have had experiences there that they might feel could be a little bit like negative or something, just because it's kind of heavy in there. There's a heaviness to it, and
Big time.
also the nature of the activity. People get touched a lot, and a lot of times, I think they've said like females get um kind of the brunt of the activity. Sometimes it's like it anyway. So people get touched. People have heard like growling and like stuff like that in the chapel area. I've seen it on television shows where they go in and make a really big deal about this big aggressive spirit that's supposedly in the chapel area. And so they go into that um, investigation with that provoking mindset, like I'm gonna go and be all big and tough to the spirit and let
Right.
it know it can't scare me. But I will say this: always just know that that's not anytime that's not the best approach, because um my experience in the chapel on this recent investigation, um, when I first went down there on the tour, because I was filming some of the volunteers that were kind of showing us around, one of the girls got touched while I was interviewing or while I was filming. And then a little bit later, when we went in there, I kept getting touched. So we were
Right.
conducting, you were there, we were conducting our EVP session. Something kept touching me. And I started getting this like pain in my chest. It was like a tightness, started getting nauseated. So one would automatically assume this is something trying to hurt me or like all this. And so someone might start provoking or whatever, like trying to, because they might be assuming that it's something bad. But my mindset is the spirit might not know that what it's doing is scaring you, or that it might be doing whatever it could to just get noticed. Just because it touches you doesn't mean it's trying to hurt you. What you might be feeling in your chest, like that tightness, and I'm not the only one who has felt that there, that tightness in the chest, it might be more of this empathic, like maybe this spirit had a heart attack.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just trying to communicate what happened to them. So that my point is, you never know the situation of what's actually going on there. So don't go into a situation where you're going to go in and start provoking and yelling at a spirit.
And it's
You
silly.
know, does that make sense? Yeah. Does that make sense though? Like you
Yeah.
never know what could be going on. You want to approach it with respect and try to find this understanding. Um, and so I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And a lot of people going in and provoking is because of some of the TV shows they've seen, some of the hosts they've seen, and we would never talk bad about any host or any other show at all. But we're very big on ethical ghost hunting. It's sort of like catch and release when you're fishing. We're trying to cause as little harm as we possibly can. We do have a question from
Yeah, I just saw that.
uh-huh from Rachel.
Rochelle,
Rochelle? Yeah, from
uh,
Rochelle. How can
Ra-
you distinguish
Rochelle,
between
thank you,
a
Rochelle.
good and a bad
Um,
spirit? Or are any spirits bad? That's a great question. That is a good
yeah.
question. I'm going to let you go first after you drink your coffee.
Okay, so kind of like what I was talking about with, yeah, um, kind of what I was talking about with that the situation like at Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. Um, you walk into a situation or an area where you can feel that heaviness, you can feel that you maybe you're getting physically touched, you're having these experiences in there, and you would automatically assume, oh, it's a bad spirit.
Right.
But that's one of the points I was trying to make in is sometimes you don't know. They might just be trying to communicate what happened to them. And so, but are there bad spirit or any spirits bad? I mean, you got to think about too, these were humans, like living people at one point. Not all humans are good.
Right.
Like some people are jerks, some
Yeah.
people, and when you a spirit, I feel, I don't believe that there's spirits out there that are just seeking to do us harm, but there are some that might be moody spirits. There might be, angry spirits. They might be, haunting a place that they just, I mean, they were once people. So they have their own personalities. Like they are who they are. It's very rare to actually come across a malicious spirit
Yeah.
that seeks to do harm. That's very rare.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Um, but I feel you've got to look at it the way that you do people.
Yeah, I
You got
agree.
to look at them as individuals,
Yeah.
and um that's why you always need to approach things with respect.
Oh,
Just
I agree. And with me, it's like I've been in
um,
places. I don't believe in evil. I don't, or there is evil, but I don't believe in like evil spirits. I don't believe in demons. You know what I mean? But there are some nasty spirits out there. There are some very calming spirits. When you walk into a place, you can feel it. And we've been in places where it's just been downright negative. I've walked in, well, like I said, I was jumped on by something in a prison, and that was not a good spirit. But that same thing happened in another
mhm,
location, and it was not evil. It felt like a little kid. It's like even though it was the same thing, something literally physically jumped on me that I could
mhm,
tell the difference. One was very malicious. The other one was like, "Hey, I'm trying to get your attention." And both were
mhm.
scary. I'm not gonna lie, both were scary as they could possibly be because neither time I expected anything to happen. But yeah, it's I agree with
Y-
you 100%.
Yeah, and you say both times was scary, and that's what can be confusing
Yeah,
sometimes is anytime you experience the paranormal, you're scratches on the wall or a bump in, noise or sound. It's hard for us to understand what we can't really explain. So it's
yeah,
always going to be unsettling or scary or whenever something happens. But that's the thing, you do have to learn to kind of distinguish, am I scared because I heard a bump in the night, or am I scared because I actually have a bad feeling about something? And that's
yeah,
one thing you do have to. I've learned to try to trust my intuition. You walk into a place and you just feel that heaviness, that darkness. You feel that you can try to learn to read that energy,
right,
and instead of just automatically thinking every ghost is scary and bad, try to take a step back and really let your body kind of see what it's feeling. What do I actually feel? If I feel this negativity, trust that.
yeah,
Trust that, okay, maybe this is not the best situation for me to be in right now.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Rochelle mentioned, she said that's why I hate the way media portrays spirits because you see all of these
mhm.
evil, demonic type movies, but none of, or a lot of them show the good side of spirits. And says, I've only
Yeah,
experienced the
exactly.
good. So we would love to know some of your experiences. But yeah, we're the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really run into, well, except for the prison, just something that is just totally just like, I don't like you. I don't want you here. I want you gone.
Yeah. I mean, I've experienced spirits before that are very territorial
Oh
because they're
yeah.
protective of where they are, and so some people might misinterpret that as being bad. But I wouldn't want somebody just walking into my house, and
Right.
so they can't do anything about it when visitors are like coming in and stuff. And so, I could understand why they might act out some because you wouldn't want somebody coming in your house, but that's also why it's important for us as investigators to go into a situation very respectfully.
Hmm.
And we always kind of introduce ourselves to the spirits. Anytime
Yeah.
we go to a place and start an EVP session, we always introduce ourselves and we tell them why we're there. And we let them know we come in respect. And also, kind of referring back to Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, when I was in there that first session and something kept touching me and I was having these sensations. Well, later on, and you guys will see this on our future episode, but Craig and I were like, we're going to do a solo session. Craig went to one area of the hospital,
Mhm.
and I chose to go back and do my solo session in the chapel because I knew something was trying to reach out to me in there. And so I was like, I'm just going to face my fears and I'm going to go in there. Didn't really want to, but I was like, I'm going to go in there. And I just sat down and I had a chat with the spirit and just let them know, hey, I come with full respect. and I know you were trying to reach out to me earlier, um and if I can't, because I remember when it was first happening, stuff kept touching me, and I was kind of freaking out a little
Yeah.
bit. And I kind of apologized for.
Oh no, we lost her again. Give her one moment. Sorry about that. Again, no crash without the crash. Give her a second to get back in here. There she goes. She is back in. One moment. All right. Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened there again.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay,
I don't know why
so,
it does that, because
oh
it
no.
doesn't do it when we're practicing.
Exactly.
But what I was saying, that I kind of just had a heart to heart with the spirit, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know why you like to touch females, because that they said that normally it's like females kind of get that the brunt of the activity in there."
Yeah.
And I just said, "I don't know why you." Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes. You good?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Like, I said, I don't know why you like to like touch people in here. I don't know why people feel that tightness in their chest, but I'm here to try to understand it.
Yeah.
And so I tried a different approach, and I'm gonna tell you the energy in there changed, and it wasn't that thick, heavy feeling anymore. It almost felt. I had the feeling like maybe they are trying to tell me that that's what happened to them, maybe a heart
Hmm.
attack or something. And so, yeah. Okay, we got some more comments in the chat. Um, oh, and also one thing that Rochelle mentioned about the media.
Yeah.
Um, there are paranormal shows out there that you also got to think that's how they get their ratings, is
Antagonizing. Yeah.
portraying things as more than what it is. Yeah. And there are some shows that have made it popular to say that everything is a demon and everything is, scary and negative. And unfortunately, since those shows are so popular,
Right.
that's what a lot of amateur investigators do as well. Um, because they learn it from those shows. And thankfully, there are some shows out there that do things the right way. Um, but the media does kind of make it harder
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Harder for us little
the
guys.
spirits even.
Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
Rochelle says, I live in a home. Let's see, I'm trying to read it here. Okay. I live in an old home that belonged to my grandparents. I may hear small noises. Uh oh, I'm so sorry. She is back out. Let's give her a second to get back in. All right, I live in an old home, belonged to my grandparents. I may hear small noises in another room or something open that I know I closed or a rub on my back, but nothing bad. How should I approach that? I'm going to let Ashley, she's back in. Give me one second. There we go.
Back over that comment real quick because
Yeah,
it dropped me out when you were reading it. So
right.
hang on.
All right.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me
Yes.
though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me pull this over so I can see it better.
All
All
right.
right. Okay, so you live in a home that belonged to your grandparents, and you
Mm-hmm.
hear small noises in another room. Um, so that's one thing that, and I don't know where you're located, but if you could find a reputable group that researches the paranormal, and do vet a group carefully, make sure they are, a reputable group.
Right.
You want professionals to come in and do it the right way. Um, they have ways of, like what we do. We come in, we have equipment, like scientific equipment, to help kind of um, validate if something is there, or we can kind of figure out what could be kind of causing it that maybe not isn't paranormal. But also in the way you talk to the spirits, you do want to
Yeah.
be careful with certain approaches. you don't want to go in just kind of blindly, like just talking to like, um, you don't want to, what's the word? And not invoke, but like invite. You don't want to be too inviting of certain things. You do want to be really careful, especially if you're not a seasoned investigator. Um, so, but what we do, we have digital recorders that we can, that kind of like document and let us listen back to things that we can't hear with our own ears,
Right.
but the recorder can pick up voices that we can't hear. We ask certain questions and listen back and see if we can get answers. And that, like, if you could get a name or something, that
Yeah.
helps you understand, like, who could be there. And then you can start doing research on the property, research of the home. And,
I think,
but if you don't any kind of investigating, you can still say things to the spirits. Like if
yeah.
you ever get scared or if you ever get feel uneasy, you can tell them, hey, this is making me uncomfortable. Please don't do that. This is my home. This is my space. You're welcome to be here, but don't scare me. Don't
Yeah.
bother me. I don't, you can put your foot down
Yeah. You
and they
can,
will listen. Like you can tell them to stop. But just, yeah,
there's a difference between being antagonistic and being assertive. This is your space. You're the one that pays rent. You're the one that pays the mortgage. You're in charge. You got to let them know. Hey, you can be here. You're fine. You're not bothering me. Number one, I have things in my house, and I tell them, don't ever bother my dogs, and don't bother me. You're fine to be here. You're fine to be active. Whatever you want to do, just don't bother me. Don't bother my dogs. Don't be mean, and we'll get along fine. She also says that
yeah,
the house belonged to her parents, and off and on, they would have feelings that she's not alone, and never tried to talk to them because I don't know what to say, and says she has been to bed before with the messy kitchen like we all have, and has felt the covers sliding off and then hearing dishes rattling in the kitchen. And
mm-hmm.
and so she went to clean the kitchen before she got in trouble. I like that. Spirit saying, hey, clean up. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
and just there's a big difference between being assertive and just saying, this is my space. You're welcome to share this space with me. Just, know your boundaries, and then just being antagonistic. We never want you to be
yeah,
antagonistic. But if you are having trouble, reach out
yeah,
to a reputable group in your area, and see if you can get some help, or at least some answers.
yeah. And hey, I mean, we don't know where you are, but if you emailed us like your
Yeah,
location, and we're in we're in Alabama, so I
yeah,
don't know if you're anywhere close to there. But hey, if you are,
yeah.
we could always help
We can
out.
always help.
But but yeah, let us know where you are. But yeah, so the house that I lived in before where I live now, so before I was even a part of the Tuscaloosa Paranormal Research Group,
Hmm.
and I wasn't familiar with actual investigating. Like I had experienced the paranormal my whole life, but not investigating. The house I lived in, I had a lot of stuff like that too. And I didn't understand it. And I was like, oh, this is something bad here. I need to know. Um, and the group came out, they did an investigation, and they told me that same thing. They're like, hey, if you're ever uncomfortable, put your foot down.
Yeah,
Like, this is where you live. The ghosts have to respect you. You respect them too. But this is your home. So I remember doing that. And because there was a lot happening at that house and I was actually pretty scared. And so I remember we just put our foot down and we said, hey, you can't be doing this. I had a toddler at the time and I was like, you can't be messing with him. Don't mess with my cats, and you can be here, but don't be doing what you're doing because it was a lot.
yeah.
And it stopped. They listen as long as you approach it with respect and they listen. So
I agree with that.
yeah.
Um, and that goes really
But
into
you never
one
know,
of
it could be
our. Mhm.
I was to
Sorry.
say it could be family members checking in on you,
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah. Let's see. She said, "Thank you so much," and literally seeking someone to speak with. I live in Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, you're in
Okay.
Oh,
We're
so
in
you're
I'm
close
in
to us. Yeah,
Birmingham.
you need
Yeah.
to. Yeah, yeah, cool. Okay, so yeah, if you ever need help, just
And her family is
yeah.
from
So I'm in
Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. And I'm in Birmingham. So,
Yeah, that's where I am.
yeah,
Well,
if
I
you
tell you what,
would,
if
yeah.
you felt comfortable with it, let's say you could email us and we can research
Mhm.
the address or something. We can do some research for you so we can help in any way. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So just send us an
So
email and we'll get in touch with you and see if there's any way we can help. We would love to. That's awesome.
yeah.
And that actually leads into our next question that we have up here, which is what does it mean if I hear scratching noises at night? That could be scary. Well, number one, it could mean a raccoon or a squirrel.
Yeah.
But what if it is paranormal?
And so yeah. Well, I will say this: we investigated a private location. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think you were there on this one,
No,
Craig. I think it
I
was
wanted to
me
be
and
there.
Jonathan, Heather, Laura, and Casey. Well, we went to this private location, and we were they would hear scratching noises in the walls. Their dog would sit there growling at the wall, and so you think, oh, there's nothing in the corner, so like, are they growling at something that they see and we can't? But we're hearing the scratching noises. It did turn out it was rats in the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
We investigated, we found the rats. It was rats in the wall. And so that's one thing to always keep in mind. Sometimes it isn't paranormal, sometimes it is something. um but like you just asked, Craig, sometimes what if it is paranormal? So that's, have you ever experienced, Craig, the like scratching sounds in the wall?
No, but my very, very, very first night in my house, the very first night that I
Hmm.
moved into the house, set my bedroom up, had school the next morning because it was a Sunday night. Had school the next morning. So it was November 1st that I moved in. So it was right after Halloween. And so I had in the box for my room, I had what is called like a little ghost in a box, a little Halloween decoration from like Walmart. And you press the plunger and it goes woo and a bunch of scary music and lights up and dun dun dun. So I packed the dogs in the bed. We were asleep about maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Boom, boom, boom. It goes off. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like up. I'm like, okay, calm down. It's just the batteries have gone bad. I've had it for a couple of years. Batteries have probably gone down. So, it's probably self-actuating. So, but you have to push the plunger down. So I said, no problem. So, oh, she's back. Or she's out. Um, I'm sorry, guys. So sorry. Give her a second to come back in. Here she comes. Oh, try that again. It is very strange that we never have trouble until we go live. There we go. Okay. So, continuing my story. You there? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Are
Can
you
you hear
there?
me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can't.
All right,
Okay,
hold
now,
on.
yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
if it drops me out, just keep talking with whatever you're talking
Okay.
about. I'll just
Okay.
going back in.
All right. So we got back to sleep and it did it again for the second time. So I got up and threw it in the corner. Or I got up, turned it off at the bottom and threw it in the corner. So the next morning I woke up and I thought it was a dream, but I looked over and it was in the corner. So I turned it on and it sat on in one spot for maybe a year because I was not going to move that thing. And it never, ever, ever went off again. And to this day, the same batteries are in it. I can still press it and it lights up. And I cannot explain that one. I think that night it was just telling us, hey,
Yeah.
we're here. We are here and we are watching. So, yeah, that was my
Yeah.
very first night. So I've not heard the scratches, but I did have a very powerful experience the very first night I moved in. What about you?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember where I heard this, but maybe it was on one of those TV shows. I don't know. But like, I used to hear that if you hear scratches, it means, demonic or something. Like, I remember somebody telling me that. And so
Hmm.
the house that I was talking about that I lived in before the one now, I remember that's one of the things that we were hearing was scratching on the door at night. And
Yeah.
so Paxton was a baby at the time. I had some cats, but they all slept on the bed with us. And I remember we would hear scratching like on the closet door or something. And that was also kind of concerning to me because someone did say, "Oh, that's a bad sign." And I remember Scott even talking to me about that and explaining that no, that doesn't mean it's a bad sign or anything. I mean,
Right.
they couldn't find any like animals that were causing it.
Hmm.
So I don't know what it was, but so I mean, it could have been something in the wall. I don't know, but that's also good to know that it's not if just because you hear something like scratching, which that sounds creepy, it doesn't necessarily mean bad.
Right. Right. I agree. I agree. It's not, try to get answers before you jump to conclusions is what I think. Let's see. All right. Our next question is, can a person become possessed by a human spirit? I've gotten that before. Can you become possessed by a human spirit? What do you think? What are your thoughts?
So hold on, I can't hear you.
Of course. Because
I think it might be frozen. Say
it
something real quick.
hello, can you hear me? Hello.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. The mic's not working or something.
Okay, let's see. It probably needs to catch up here a little bit.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
It's back now.
Okay, great, great.
Okay, so after you read the question, I couldn't hear what you were.
And she's up. I honestly do not know what our issues are. I don't know if it's bandwidth, but give her a second to come back in. Give her a second. Sorry, I don't like dead air when we are on live. I think she's coming back in. There we go. One day we're going to be able to have our own little place and we can just be live together.
Well, when we would go live and I would use Safari, the mic had issues,
Hmm.
but now on Chrome, it's the video. So I'm wondering if I should start switching back to Safari and
Yeah,
just dealing with the mic issues. I don't know.
it's insane.
Um, but anyway, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So
Okay.
I cannot hear you.
Oh no. Well,
Okay. Now I
our
think I can hear you.
okay, our
Did you
last
answer that question yet?
not yet. What do you think? Can a person become possessed by a human spirit?
So, contrary to what some popular television shows would portray, I don't believe that a human spirit can possess a living person. Um, I mean, I know you don't believe in like demons. I do, and I believe that a demonic possession, can exist, but a human spirit, I don't believe can possess a living spirit or a living person. I know on TV shows they show stuff like that a lot. And one in particular, and I won't mention it, but people probably know what I'm talking about. But like one show in particular, it's like every time they go to a location, they get possessed by the ghost,
Or
and I just think that
oppressed?
that's kind of
Yeah,
silly.
yeah. But yeah, I'm in the same. I believe the same thing. I think uh, I don't know. I've personally only seen one person in 17 years that have has claimed to be possessed, and it was a good friend of mine that doesn't really say very much, or not like a paranormal person. So I sort of believe that instance. I don't know if it was a human spirit or what would be called an inhuman spirit. I have no idea, no idea. So that's a good question. That one's still, the jury
I
is still
definitely,
out.
yeah, and I definitely think they can have, yeah, and I think they can definitely have influence over people, but um, yeah, I mean, I'm open minded always to anything like that because it's stuff that no one can really truly understand
Right.
everything that involved with the paranormal, and so that's that's a good question though. Like, I'm not ever worried though about going on a ghost hunt and becoming possessed by the
Yeah.
ghost. That's I've
Yeah.
never been worried about that. So,
Yeah. Same here. Same here. That's never really been a concern. And if
and
it,
I too another theory you could kind of. I'm sorry.
I said that's never really been a concern,
Can you
but
hear
if
me?
it, yeah, but if it were a concern, I might think twice about what I'm doing, but I've never experienced it, so.
I think one thing that, in theory, someone can be very, very empathic.
Mhm.
That so, in like, if you're an empath and you go to places like you rely a lot on the feelings that you get, and you kind of absorb that energy and emotions, even like residual um energy. You absorb that, and I think that too, like, let's say someone goes in that's very, very, like, just a strong empath. I could see then how it would, um you might even have thoughts that are not your own, or
Right.
feelings that are not your own. And
No,
I know
yeah.
people in our group, people in our group that don't normally experience things like that. We've been places before where they have. And it's like sometimes you absorb that energy, and it's like you're not yourself. And so that's um a big possibility too, to be like that. So,
Yeah, that has happened to me before, and on a
mhm.
pretty deep level that I do want to talk about, one day. We have been on for about
Mhm.
45 minutes, and we're going to do a couple of other questions. And then this is going to be sort of an ongoing thing that we're doing, maybe once a month, just having a very informal, come in, ask questions, and some of our frequently just a paranormal hangout chat. So we're going to do one more question, and that is, am I in danger if I have a ghost in my house? It takes a second. We're
Mhm.
having a little lag. Did you hear me? Did you
Sorry,
hear?
it was a major delay, right? Yeah, I could, but there's a delay on here, so yeah,
I have
I
no
couldn't
idea.
tell if you were done talking or not. But yeah. So, am I in danger if I have a ghost in my house? I say no.
I say no too. I say no, absolutely no. I say no. I mean,
Um,
I have
there.
ghosts in my house. I've had two
Uh-huh.
women come in and say there's a little girl and a old man and an old man upstairs, and in the basement. I don't know what is in the basement. They filmed two movies. They filmed some short films in my house, and all of them have come out with experiences. And but I've never felt threatened here except for the very first night. But I've never felt
Mhm.
threatened. I've never felt like I need to get out of this house. Uh, and the funny thing is, it's other people that tend to have experiences in my house. Okay, I'll give you a little bit of very brief history. The neighborhood refers to my house as the kill house and the mob house because the Chicago Mafia, the legit mob, was very busy in Bessemer, Alabama, for a long time in the 40s and 50s. And rumor has it that they owned my house. I'm still trying to find some information on that. and that they got rid of the bodies in the weird bathtub in the basement. Which no one ever goes to the basement. It's unfinished, and I'll
The
take y'all down there
bathtub
one
is
day.
still there.
It is, yeah, and it's not
We need to
pretty.
do that.
We will. We
We
will.
need to do that. I need to come to your house and we'll do a live and we'll show people the tub and everything.
Well, actually, me and
That would be
you, let's do we'll do an investigation here and see. I'm not
yeah.
scared to do an investigation in my own home, so we will schedule an
Yeah.
investigation and take y'all everywhere in the house. And yeah, it's an interesting basement. Like I said, 2 movies have been filmed in the basement, or 2 short films, and each time they're like, "You really have a creepy basement." I'm like, "I know, right?"
um but also like the question, am I in danger if I have a ghost in my house? So a lot of times when we get people contact us, um most of the time, and I'm talking about like the private investigations, the private cases that we do, most of the time they say I need help. And
Yeah.
so that's one of our main goals, is to help people feel comfortable in their own homes and to get information to either validate if something's there or figure out what is there.
Mhm.
And but is to help people know that, hey, you have authority over this and you're not in danger.
Right.
But I do want to mention one little thing. I don't know if people are familiar with that TV show, The Ghost Brothers.
I love them.
I
I
remember
love
there
them.
was one episode where one of the Ghost Brothers, yeah, they're so funny. They had a ghost box and they stepped into a room and they were at a private location. They held the ghost box, the little spirit box, in the room and they asked a question and a voice came through. Well, the guy throws the spirit box. It sounded creepy. He throws it and he takes off running. He's like, "Girl, you got to move. You just need to move. Get out of this house." It was so funny, but that's the thing. We're not here to tell you, oh, move. Yeah,
Right.
get away from that house. No, nothing's gonna. You're not in danger. Um,
We
but
want
that
you
was just
to,
a little
yeah.
funny mention there because I remember seeing that episode and I laughed.
Yeah, we want,
So
if we're on an investigation like that, it's like my house. You can live peacefully with whatever's in there. And that's our goal. Like I said, we don't antagonize. We're not going to walk in and say, "You've got to move. You've got to get this ghost out of here." But yeah, we will, help anytime we can. And I can guarantee that even on our episodes, everything we do, we will not fabricate. We will not lie. We will not antagonize. We are very big believers in ethical ghost hunting. So we're not gonna stir up anything. We're not gonna make a fuss. But
yeah,
I've enjoyed this. This is nice. I like doing this.
yeah. If my thing will stop dropping me out,
We
but
will figure it
it's
out.
okay. It recovers quick, so
Yeah, we
yeah.
will. We
But
will
yeah,
figure it
we'll
out.
we'll do this more. We have a whole other series of questions, so we'll
Yeah.
we'll do a hangout again soon, and
Yep.
we'll get to the other questions. But let's see, any announcements. I know we have an episode that we filmed at the Drish House that's going to be coming soon.
hmm
It's not available yet. I'm still working on it, but it will be within the next few weeks. Then we'll have Old South Pittsburgh episode coming out as well.
hmm
That one was a 2-night investigation, so there's a lot
A
of
lot to go
cool
through.
things that's going to be on that episode.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that one.
So,
All right. Well, Ashley, thank you. And we are going to work on these issues, try to figure out what it is. Yeah, hey, if you know anything about Streamlabs and lag time, shoot us a comment, shoot us an email. We
yeah.
need all the help we can get. But we still do it because we love
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Ashley, any parting words?
I guess not. Just if anybody watches this and you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications because we do go live a lot. We have episodes coming and you don't want to miss them. So subscribe. Follow us on social media. We post updates and stuff and upcoming like events and stuff like that on there as well. We're Crash Media Paranormal on all the social medias. So
And crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com. Reach out to us. Any questions, we'll put them on future episodes. All right? Well, Ashley, you have a wonderful evening, and everyone else, y'all have a great night and keep it spooky.
good night.
Good night. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos or want to be a part of our live investigations, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you have any ideas for future investigations or want to share your own paranormal encounters, please feel free to leave a comment or send an email to crashmediaparanormal@gmail.com.